Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Thursday, February 18th, 2021, and we are in the final hour of the trading day. I mention this each day, but the last hour of the market is my favorite time to make my buying and selling decisions, and I say this because during the day you have the algorithms and the day traders. They are the ones in control of the market. At the end of the day, the large financial institutions take control of the price back away from, they wrestle the control of the price back away from the day traders and the algorithms. And I prefer to follow what they're doing at the end of the day. I feel like it is a long-term edge in my trading because I feel like it's following smart money. So that's why I make the majority of my buying and selling decisions in the last hour, and in particular, just right in the last few minutes. So thank you all for coming today. Always nice to see everybody. I hope you're having a good day. Interesting market today. We're going to go over that in a minute, but I just appreciate you coming. It's nice to see you. I appreciate everyone that comes here and what they contribute to the podcast. And I think it's a really kind of a cool place to hang out with my friends and great traders. And so I appreciate you being here. All right, so here is the plan for today. First of all, we are going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, we're going to come back, take a look at my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. I did have one day trade today, losing trade, but I will share that with you as well. Then we're going to go over to the board. Any of my past students and current students are able to post their trades up there. So we're going to go over there and we're going to take a look and we're going to see how those are doing. After that, we are going to talk a little bit about trader psychology, most important part of trading, most important skill that you can develop. Having patience is the most important thing. And if you've been trading for a while, you understand this. If you're new to this, it may not sink in. But once you've traded for a while, you'll understand that controlling your emotions, not letting your emotions get amplified, creating a good plan based upon solid trading principles, and then following that plan is the only true way to make money at this game in the long run. So we're gonna take a few minutes. We're gonna talk about that. After that, I have gone down through my watch list. I have gone down through the results of Kamal Scanner. I have 3 requirements before I look to enter any trade. First requirement, I need to look for a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up on multiple time frames. Number 2, if I find the confluence on multiple time frames, I want to make sure that I have a good risk to reward ratio. I don't want to take a position if it's moved too far, or as Kamal and I like to say, it looks a little chasey. Chasey means you're chasing it. It's moved a little too far to really have a good risk to reward ratio. 2 to 1 is my minimum. If I'm risking $100, I want to be able to make 200 or more to the upside to make it a legitimate risk to reward for me. And then number 3, always take a few minutes before you hit that buy button. Ask yourself, do I really need this position? Do I already have other correlated positions? Or in other words, do I already have other positions in stocks that are in the same industry as that I'm thinking about buying this new position? Best to be diversified, have different industries, even get outside of equities into gold, bonds, silver, so forth. And then lastly, always position size based upon the current volatility. If the market has high volatility, you have to buy a smaller position size. If the market has low volatility, then you can buy a higher position size. But you want to standardize your maximum allowed loss every day. So it's very important. I hope you're doing that. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. All right. So I'm going to go down through the watch list. I'm going to look and see if I can find a good end of day candidate. There are some good end of day candidates today. So we'll be going through those, the potential ones at the end of the day. I'm going to go through them with a fine tooth comb, look at multiple time frames, look for entry signals, make sure there's a good risk to reward ratio, and keep in mind, do I have any other positions that are in the same industry? All right. And then if I find something, I will buy it right before the close of the day. After the market closes, if you have any questions for me, go ahead, just ask them. I will do my very best to answer and clarify them. If you have any symbols that you would like me to look at before the close of the day, all you have to do is go ahead, put them in the chat, put an emoji or an asterisk by it so that I know it's time sensitive, and I will do my very, very best to get to it before the close. And then after the market closes, if any of my past students or current students, if they have any new positions they'd like me to update on the board, that would be the time to do it. But if you could please wait till the market's closed so I'm done teaching and trading, pressure's off, and then we'll get to it. All right, so hang tight. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I will be back in about 40 seconds. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, thanks for holding on. So, well, let's take a look. What is happening? Well, it's red across the board on the indexes. The Dow is down 76.22 points, down about 1/4%. The NASDAQ is down 71 points, down about 0.5%, and the S&P is down 11, down 0.30%. We were down much, much lower earlier in the day, so we have had a nice little comeback here. So I'm looking at this 5-minute chart on Apple. I almost took this 520 crossover right here. I like the consolidation, the winding up. Whenever you have sideways motion, it's going to wind up. It's either going to move down or up eventually. And the 520 crossover right here would have been the proper place to get in. I didn't get in here, but boy, what a great trade that would have been, huh? Just a nice, easy breezy trade on the way up. All right, let's see who is here today. All right, Brian is here. Brian M. Good to see you, Brian. Hope you're having a good day. Lova74 is here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Lova. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Steve Burns is here. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Always an honor and a privilege to have you here, Steve. I mean that. Sincerely mean that, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way. We missed you yesterday. Steve says, hello, everyone. I'm glad my internet is back. It was down for 6 hours yesterday. Part of that was during this podcast. Oh, so you were totally off the grid, huh? Well, I hope you enjoyed it. You didn't have any positions, so it wasn't as stressful. Steve says, I still have no positions here. Yep, right, exactly. And looks like that was probably a pretty good plan. Somebody asked me, student of mine, Tim, asked me, what does it mean that Steve's in cash? And I said, well, he just doesn't have any positions. He's just in all cash. And he goes, what is he waiting for? And I said, well, you know, he's waiting for a proper setup to come along. And he said, when will he take it? And I said, that I don't know. Steve's patient, and he will just wait until he has the proper setup. But good seeing you, Steve. Quad says, happy Thrifty Thursday, Greg and group. Oh, today is Thrifty Thursday? All right. I did not know that. I will keep that in mind as the day progresses. Tracy says, hi, Greg. Great class last night. Thanks so much. Hey, Trace. Good to see you. Yeah, we had a class last night. Her in Paxton was the first time I taught 2 people. And I think you did really well, Tracy. I really do. I'm glad you watched that video before we started the lessons. I know as we got into that last half hour, we all got a little bit tired. But don't worry, we're going to be going over all that stuff many, many, many more times, and I think you did great. And if Paxton's there with you, please tell him hello, and it was good speaking with him last night. Kamal is here. Good to see you, buddy. Nice chatting with you. Kamal and I are kind of virtual trading partners and bounce stuff off of each other, so appreciate that, Kamal. Appreciate your friendship. Here is Johan. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're flying safe up there in your 777, and appreciate you being here. Miko is here. Hello. Good to see you, sir. Hope you and the family are doing well. Dan gives the peace sign. Peace right back at you, Dan. David is here. Hey, Dave. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope the shoulder is doing well. Tim is here. I was just talking about Tim. Tim was asking me about Steve being in cash. And if you have anything to add to that, Steve, feel free. But good to see you, bud. Morgs is here. Good to see you, Morgs from South Africa. Hope you're doing well. Kamal has a little tent motif going on. EGHT. What is happening? Okay. EGHT. 8x8 common stock. I was looking for a test of that low, which looks like it was very close. It's not too bad. We came into the value zone. We made a lower high than here, and then did we really wash out this though? No, we didn't. No, we didn't. See, I would wait for a thorough washout of one of these previous lows. So that's the only thing that would prohibit me from taking this trade right now. Yuvar is here. Good to see you, Yuvar. Frank is here. Hello, Greg and Group. Hey, Frank. Good to see you, bud. Johnson is here. Hey, bud. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Gary says, hello, Greg and Group. Getting dumped on today. Snowy winter this year. Yeah, we had a lot of snow yesterday as well. We did. So, all right. Well, let's get to it. Take a look at current positions. So this is a position I took yesterday. I took a half position. Gary took a half position. I did buy Clorox. We came down, we had some sideways motion, we had a bullish engulfing bar and a V1, and we closed above the 5 EMA, which is a good sign, as I was mentioning yesterday. It is up 0.93% today. I did not hit that profit target. I came within like 5 or 6 cents of it. I guess I should have manually overrided it, but I didn't want to mess with it. But anyway, so far so good. As is, it's up 0.91% today. CNK. All right, so CNK, I did buy back here with this trigger of the fractal and a V2. I bought it at 20.52. It's 21.12. It's down a penny today, so if anything's going to be down, a penny is what you want it to be. So I have been in this for about 5 days. I am up, not a ton, but I am up, so nothing really here. We have earnings coming up on the 19th. So actually, could somebody check and see when Cinemark's earnings are? They could be tomorrow morning. I didn't even know it. That just dawned on me. Maybe Kamal or somebody could check on that for me to see if the earnings are in the morning or afternoon. Because if they're in the morning, I'm going to have to get rid of it tonight. Facebook. All right. So Greg and Kamal bought Facebook. I bought it here at 237.87. It's currently 270.24. It is down 1.22% today. I bought it because of the trigger of the fractal and the 1050 EMA crossover. It was way down earlier. It has recovered. I know Kamal bought some at 268, which was a good move. If I have a crossover and the price closes below both the 10 and the 50, I'll get out of half. And then if the 10 crosses under the 50, I'll get out of the second half. So as is right now, this looks like something I will be holding, even though it is down on the day. All right. So Gary and I bought PLNT February 26th. PLNT yesterday. This nice bullish engulfing bar, V1 above all the moving averages. I bought a half position. I think Gary bought a full position. Bought at 78.79. It is up 2.59% today, which is great. I did hit one profit at $80.13. Getting close to that second profit target, but I know there are earnings tomorrow. So I am going to have to get rid of this tonight. They're tomorrow morning, so I will go ahead and hopefully lock in profits unless it comes all the way back down. But this was a nice little one-day trade for 2.79%. PSNL, yes, Johnson, Frank, and we bought PSNL back here at 40.45. False breakout to the downside. V2. Next day moved up nicely, reversed back down, lost the 50 RSI. I did sell half. Yesterday, I would have sold it if it had closed below the 50, but it barely stayed above. This morning was horrible, but it's had a really nice comeback, but it does look like it's going to close below the 50 today. So I will be getting out, taking a loss on this trade right here. Overnight SPY trade. Not a good one. I bought it at 392.39 last night, and I sold it this morning at 389.56 for an overnight loss. So this is to be expected. You know, we had 6 or 7 days where this was profitable, and I was like, man, how long could this last? You know, you kind of feel like you don't want to do it because it won't last, but I keep doing it because that's the plan, and I stick to the plan. But there was an overnight loss. I will be buying this again today at the close, holding it overnight, selling it tomorrow morning. Myself, Gary, Quad Racer, we had a great trade on Verizon. We had a double bottom with a bullish divergence, and we went under 30, over 30. We bought at 54.17. Yesterday, we had a huge day up, 5% or whatever. I did hold it because it held above the 200-day. Right now, it is still struggling. Oh, and I did hit one profit target today at 57.44. So I will hold this as long as it stays above, closes above the 200-day moving average. If it closes below the 200-day moving average today, I will go ahead and just lock in profits. But this was a really, really good trade. And then Apple. I had one day trade on Apple, was a loser. I messaged Kamal and I said, hey, I'm short Apple at 128.56. The reason why is that we lost the 50 SMA, downward sloping, came up, tested it, closed back below. Obviously, I wanted this to go down, but it didn't. My stop was a close above the 50 SMA, and the second I bought it, it just went whoop, right up. So I took a loss. I shorted at 128.56. I covered at 128.72. Which was not fun, but listen, am I glad that I covered here instead of up here? You betcha. I mean, because now it's just rallied like crazy. So it's never fun to take a loss, but in my experience, more times than not, when you take a loss, you look back half an hour later and you made the right decision. Steve says, QS has a 520 crossover yesterday, but I did not take it as it was up 25% on the day. Oh, yeah. I don't think I chased that either. Today it's up another 6. Lovis says MMM sideways motion before the V and broke the 50 RSI, and the weekly is in an uptrend. All right, let's take a look. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, not really sideways, kind of sideways motion, I guess. We came into the I zone, but then we went above it. So I would count this as the first day down. This is the first day of sideways motion. Yes, a V2, but I'm not going to take a return to value V2, Lava, if it's up against this 1 ATR channel. This is most likely where it's going to find some resistance, and you can see that's exactly what it did today. So this would be too high and too extended for me. I'd much rather be down here in the middle, maybe here, but right up here at the 1 ATR channel, I would not take. Frank has a trade for us. I mean, a trade. Maybe he has a trade for us too. He has a poem for us. Trades come and go. Always another bound to show. But there is only you to face the highs and the lows. You see, it's not the market, but you that will take the punches and blows. Oh, that's true. That is how a trader grows. Let me try it one more time. Trades come and go. Always another bound to show, but there is only you to face the highs and the lows. You see, it's not the market, but you that will take the punches and blows. That is how a trader grows. Boy, that's so true. Excellent poem, Frank. Thank you as always, sir. I always appreciate that. I know everyone likes to read these poems. They're just fantastic. Really great. Thank you very much, Frank. Frank, bow to you, brother. I agree. And to you, Dan. All right. Okay. Let's take a look and see what's going on over here. These are just something I was watching. So because of the new format, we have a lot fewer positions on the board. Morgs bought NIO at 59.07. It's currently 54.86. It is down 4.29% today. So this one's gotten a little bit away from the entry price there, Morgs. It did bounce off the 50-day moving average, which is a decent sign. But just make sure you have your stops in place. Gary sold expiring tomorrow the 57.50 puts. He got $118 per contract, but right now it's 54.85, so it is below his strike price. So in that case, if he kept these, Gary would be assigned at 57.50. So let me know, Gary, if there's any changes or you've made any maneuvers with this trade. So, yep. All right. SQ. All right. So Jatton bought at 245. He sold a quarter. Johan bought at 237.67. Way down here, 237, right about here. And it's 271.57. It's up 0.18%, so it's up on the day and up on the trade, which is good. Snow, speaking of snow, I don't have anybody in snow. Maybe I just accidentally left that up there. Darn. That was up today. I was excited. Frank bought NVAX. This is one of the biggest trades I've seen all year. Frank bought here at 135. Look at this monster move up. And this is a perfect example, everybody, of sideways motion. This is sideways motion. This, where you one day stop and go back up, is not sideways motion. This is sideways motion. And sideways motion eventually leads to a big move up or a big move down. We just don't know what direction, and we don't know when it's going to happen, but it happens. Low volatility leads to high volatility. High volatility will lead back to low volatility or sideways motion. That's why, in my opinion, the very best time to buy anything is when it is a consolidation, when it's moving sideways. So down a little bit today, but Frank's still hugely up on the trade. He's got a 10% trailer left on this. He sold 90%, I think, somewhere up in here. Car. All right. So Kamal did buy car yesterday at 37.24. Currently it's 36.77. So it is down 1.26% today. So it is down on the day, and it looks like it is down on the trade. CTSH. Kamal bought CTSH at 76.43 yesterday. It's currently 74.77, down 2.17%. So this one, unfortunately, is down on the day and down on the trade. And then this was a day trade that Kamal made in the middle of the day. He got in at 17.12. It went up, but then it came back down to 17.12, and he sold it at break even, which I always admire a trader that can take a break even trade. That shows a lot of maturity, in my opinion. Gary says, Greg, I bought back my NIO puts for a loss today. Oh, okay. All right. So Gary is out of NIO. Well, you've had a pretty good run on your puts lately, Gary. Steve says PKI and Snow 520 EMA crossover is the only thing close to signals, but unlikely to trigger today. Okay, well, I will write those down then. PKI and Snow, so we'll watch those. Dan says, Kathy Woods from ARC gave me a 0.45 ATR day trade today. Oh, nice. I did not know she used 0.45 ATR day trades. Is she copying me again? Oh, man. All right, let's put this on here. PKI and Snow. That's not snow. S-N-O-W. Kamal says, I am going to buy 8 today. Let's look at 8. E-G-H-T. Oh yeah, that's the one we were looking at. 22,000 shares traded only, Kamal, so be careful on your bid-ask spread. Johnson says, stay V1, but very close to 1 ATR. Yeah, it's a little close for me. It's a little close for me. Gary said, it was a good run. This was my first losing trade in NIO since the beginning of January. I know. You've been doing really, really well for sure. All right. So before we talk about trader psychology, let's take a look here. Now, somebody did help me out, and they told me, Timothy says February 26th. Okay, so my charts are wrong. All right. See how this says 19th. Okay, good. Well, I'll hold it then. I'll hold it. So Clorox is doing great. Has not hit a profit target, but up 1% from yesterday's entry. So happy with that for sure. CNK down a little bit, but still profitable on the trade. Facebook, nice rally off of the lows. So I will be keeping this still down on the trade. But I did take a half a position yesterday, so I'm grateful for that. PLNT, Planet Fitness has been a nice one-day trade. I will be exiting this today because earnings are after the bell. PSNL, this one down 1% today. I got out of half here. It looks like we're going to close under the 50, so I will be exiting this trade as well. I think that's it. All right. Okay. 800,000 shares traded. Oh yeah, it's not showing today's volume. Yeah, it's been the data issues I've been dealing with. Okay, well I feel better about that for sure. All right, everybody. So listen, before we start taking a look at potential end of day trades, I just want to talk a little bit about trader psychology. It's my favorite time of the podcast. I think it's the most helpful in the big picture. I like to talk about, the value of reflecting on your trades, reflecting on your emotions, your actions. And, I like to go through Facebook. I like to go through Twitter. I like to find some really good sayings that there's a lot of great traders and educators out there that provide to us for free. And this is Anthony Crudell. Famous trader, famous educator, has a really good channel over on Twitter at Anthony Crudell. So go over, show a little love. Whatever he posts, it's good information. I think it'd be a good investment of your time to read his post. I always do. So let's see what Anthony has to say. One of the hardest things to wrap our head around as traders is that we don't know what a day, week, month, or year will give us. Having had multiple years where I've lost or made nothing is scary, but that's why a big part of this business is just being able to stay in the game. So true. And when I read this the other day, when I read this, it kind of resonated with me because a student of mine last week says, how do you deal with not making money each year? Especially if it's your full-time income, which it is for mine, right? It's my full-time income. And, I said, yeah, it happens. A lot of the times you'll make the majority of your money for a year in 3 months, 4 months, You may have 2 or 3 losing months, and the rest of the time you're just kind of treading water and just feeling unproductive, like you're not doing anything. So it is a tough thing, but like Anthony says here, the big part of this business is just being able to stay in the game, not doing anything crazy or stupid when you're in a drawdown or where you're frustrated, where you're not making money. I mean, you're working hard every day, trading this, that, and you just end up breaking even and so forth. It's tough, but how you manage yourself during those times when things aren't going well is a big indicator of how you're going to do long term in this business. And sometimes you just break even, don't do much, tread water, and but eventually you'll have a big run like this year, right? This year has been big. It's been huge. I mean, since January, right? And there was a time last year where I was just kind of treading water, not doing much up, not doing much down. And it does get frustrating. One thing that I did mention to my student was this, which I think will help, is that, I'm a big fan of trading on multiple time frames. You see me trade monthly charts, weekly charts, daily charts. Of course, I day trade all day on 5-minute charts. I like to get a nice cross section of different time frames to help smooth things out. And I also like to use multiple strategies. Maybe one's not working at the time, but a different one will. So I like to get as much cross section of time frames and strategies as possible. And that's something I recommend to everyone as well. And I think that will help even out your equity curve and help kind of even things out. But let's read it one more time. One of the hardest things to wrap our heads around as traders is that we don't know what a day, week, month, or year will give us. Having had multiple years where I've lost or made nothing is scary. Can you imagine? Multiple years where he's lost or made nothing? At what point are you going to go, I better get a job at 7-Eleven or something, right? But that's why a big part of this business is just being able to stay in the game. And eventually it will come around and it makes it all worth it. So thank you, Anthony Crudell. That was helpful for me. I hope it's helpful for everyone else. Okay. Boy, Apple just went racing on up on that 520 crossover, didn't it? Darn. That would have been sweet. Look at that right there. All the way up. All the way up. I don't think Apple's out of the woods, though, to be honest with you. We lost the 50-day. A lot of times we'll pull back to that 50 and then head back down. That's what happens a lot of the time. So it's not over. I don't think it's out of the woods yet, but it did reject the -2 ATR channel. So that is positive. All right. Well, let's take a look at some potential trades today. Here's Bitcoin. People have been asking me about Bitcoin. Well, obviously moving up very, very strong. This was a nice V2, false breakout to the downside and V2 entry here. My gosh. Now, Tracy, if you're out here, look at the RSI from here to here. If we would have bought here, we went above 70, below 70, what would I have done? I would have gotten out of half. When do I get out of the other half? When I finally get a close below the previous day's low. Hasn't happened. If we got a close below the previous day's low tomorrow, then I would be completely out. And by the way, we got in here with this V2. There was no close below the previous day's low, which we normally get out of half first. But if you have an entry and it just goes roaring right up to the 70, then as soon as it gets to the 70 and you haven't had a close below the previous day's low, you just sell half here. So half over 70, under 70, you would have gotten out of half. And then for me to get out of the rest, if I was long Bitcoin, which I'm not, but if I was, I would be ready to get out of the whole trade when I finally had a close below the previous day's low. It's a warning sign if you reject the 70 from above. But the reason I sell half is that, okay, it's a warning sign to the upside, but I also want to prove itself to the downside if I can get a close below the previous day's low before I do that. And so anyway, I saw this and I thought I'd point that out. Ollie. Well, so listen, Ollie looks pretty strong here. We have a 520 crossover, which does backtest well. We're getting close to a MACD crossover here. We triggered a fractal yesterday. A fractal is a high with two lower highs to the left and right. Here's the high. Here's the two lower highs to the left, two lower highs to the right. It did trigger yesterday. I like the sideways motion. Kamal knows what I mean. The alligator is very sleepy, but after it sleeps for a long time, it wants to wake up and it wants to eat bear meat or bull meat. And right now it looks like it may want to eat bull meat. So consolidation, fractal breakout, V1, 520 crossover. This one looks pretty good to me, honestly. And kind of what put me over the top on this trade was that the 520 crossover does backtest well. Oh, thank goodness, Kamal. We were looking at Fastly today. This is brutal. Look at this. And Tracy, if you're listening, we talked about confluences of signals. Well, look, we're at a 30.26 RSI. We are under the 200-day moving average. If it had closed above the 200, I would consider buying this. Super scary though, super scary. But it's a nice confluence of a 30 RSI and a 200-day. So I think probably the proper way to play this would be to wait, see if we can bounce back over the 200. We can use that to see, one, that we're going to stop going down, and two, that we'll have some kind of real support underneath us, the 200. Now, if it closed above the 200 today, I would consider buying it. I would, but it's down 14.79% today. Wow. Looks like it could have bounced at the 30 RSI, but with that 200 right above, I don't like it. I would like to see this close back above the 200 day before I would get interested. TLT, all right, well, it's 28.97. So if TLT can close above the 30 RSI, I would consider buying this today. It's 28.95. It did close under and back over the 30 RSI yesterday. You see, we go back 2 days ago, it was 25.50. Next day it closed at 30.67. Does give you a good risk to reward ratio, but doesn't guarantee that it's going to go up, and it didn't. So right now, if it does close above 30, I will consider buying this. But if it doesn't, I will not buy this. PKI. Oh, okay. So Steve was talking about the crossover on PKI, and that doesn't look like that's going to happen today. Snow. Bounce at the 100-day moving average, looking for the 520 crossover. That does not look like it's happening today either. AT&T, you know, this is an interesting trade because we have a big up move yesterday on a lot of volume, probably followed Verizon up. You know, when I have a big up move like this, that from a Fibonacci standpoint, I would not be surprised that it comes back and tests the halfway mark. The low to the high comes back, test halfway. I guess that's about halfway. I mean, it almost got there exactly today. It almost got to that 50 Fibonacci. You know, you could buy this, but it's a very presumptive trade that the 50 is going to hold. The up move came on high volume. The down move came on low volume, which is good. But I don't think I would really recommend that. I mean, if I were doing this, we had a big up day. Now we're back to halfway. I would go intraday and look for an intraday trade is how I would play this, because on the daily, we are back at the 50% Fibonacci support. MACD's green, right? So I would go to an intraday bar and look for a valid signal on the intraday bar using the pullback to halfway on the daily as kind of, why it got on your radar in the first place. But that would be very presumptive. It could just go down tomorrow. It could bounce big tomorrow. I mean, either way, you have a chance to make a lot or lose a lot, but it's too presumptive for me. I probably would just wait for an actual real signal or go intraday and look for a signal. Like here on this 25-minute bar, if I found a good entry, yeah, I would take it because of how the daily looks, but I don't think I would buy it on the daily. Zen, okay. Well, it's a false break out the downside from here. It's a bullish engulfing bar. It's a V1. But again, it's too high for me. We're right up here at the 1 ATR channel, which will preclude me from buying this here. So nothing on Zen for me. WSM's not bad. It's not bad, really. Actually, I should have put this over here in the, here we go. Bullish engulfing bar. Looks like we have a crossover or at least a kiss and move back over. V1, rejection of the -1 ATR channel. Didn't quite wash out this low. That's probably why I put it. Let's take a look at the weekly and see what the weekly looks like. Weekly is holding the 5 EMA, which is good. Don't like that big down bar like that, but this is okay. It's a pretty clean trade. 358,000. If I did buy this, I would use halfway the washout bar. Today is the washout bar, so this would be approximately my stop if I buy that. So that's a potential. I put that over there in the potential category. New York Times, I don't really see anything on New York Times here. SPCE, Virgin Galactic, well, nothing here today. It had triggered a V1 earlier, but I would not have taken that because there's no sideways motion. But, you know, good learning lesson here is, you know, look at the people who just desperately wanted to buy up here. Why are you buying up there? I mean, I just don't get it. Why buy above value? Now at least we're back in value, right? We're at least back in value. Much rather have somebody just pull the trigger on this here than way up here. You want to buy in value, sell above value. But I'm a little bit more stringent on my rules. It is back in the value, yes. It's 1 day of sideways motion. I need a couple days of sideways motion, more the better, and then look for a V1 or a V2. Waste management. Looks like we had a bounce right near the 200-day moving average. This is, it's too chasey for me. It's too chasey. Even if I did a V1, which it is a nice V1, and a washout here, my stop is still here halfway. And look at all this resistance that's above. 50 EMA, 1 ATR channel, 50 SMA, previous highs. So I'm going to let that one go also. Hasbro. It's okay, but there's really not a clean trade here, in my opinion. SHW, Sherwin-Williams. Had the false breakout in the V1 to the downside yesterday. It does have a 520 crossover here. It's up 0.85%. What is the market doing? Okay, so we're still down across the board. It's okay. I did not backtest this one. I don't think I was able to backtest this one. Maybe if Kamal or Steve has a minute, maybe they could backtest Sherwin-Williams and let us know if that 520 does cross, because it's, you know, it's decent. It's decent all in all. ROP V1 yesterday closed back above the 200 at 250. I don't know. I don't like this. I think there's lots better. FDS, FactSet Research, had a V1 yesterday. I don't know if the volume's incorrect on this, but it's only showing 49,000 shares, so it's not something I'd be interested. W tested the 50 a couple times earlier in the day. It was a V2, it looks like, but doesn't look like anything right now. MCK, McKesson, if we could get it to go sideways and then have a V1 and reject this -1 ATR channel, it might be a really good risk to reward ratio, might be a really good place to buy, but it's not there yet. And EA. EA is not bad. It is a higher low. We closed below the 1 ATR channel. We rallied into the value zone. We had a couple days back down. It looks like we triggered a V1 yesterday. It's still a little high, and we rejected the 1 ATR channel and this previous high. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the ones that I like here. I think I like Ollie the best. Fastly, losing it all, so we can forget about Fastly. Watch, as soon as I say that, I'll go back up. Bonds would have to close above 30 for me to be interested. William and Sonoma, let's see. Okay, that's another possibility. And Sherwin-Williams, if somebody could do a back test on that, that might be helpful. Let's see. Johnson says BMY above the 200. Oh yeah, I considered taking BMY yesterday. Actually, I think I showed this to Tracy because of the close back above the 200. Yeah, I considered taking this yesterday with the close back above the 200. It is up today, but on my charts, we already went above the 200 yesterday. So I don't think I would buy this here now. Timothy wants to look at AMT, American Tower Corporation. No, not a double bottom. Not a double bottom. I mean, here's the bottom and here's the bottom, but what we're looking for is red, red, green, and then less red. But this, yeah, this does not qualify. I mean, it is a double bottom, but I don't see anything clear here, Tim. Brian says that's not the first time FSOY has dropped that big. BMY. I looked at that, right? Yeah, I looked at that. Here's BMY right here. Yeah, the close under, close back over the 200 would have worked. Yuvar said, tomorrow is auction's expiration. Market makers trying to catch some options with high open interest, driving in the money to out of the money. Does this phenomenon play a role in your purchasing decisions today? No, it doesn't, Yuvar. It really doesn't. I just take the signals when I have them. It's too much for me to factor in, and I've just found if I have good, clean trades, I just take them. But if I try to factor in all that other stuff, I probably wouldn't take anything. Johnson says BA rejection from the 50 SMA, 50 RSI close, double top. Could this be a potential short? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could. It definitely could. There was a V1 that happened yesterday, but it still held the 50. But today we're losing, like you mentioned, Johnson, we lost the 50 SMA. We also lost the 50 RSI, at least right now we have. And we had a double top. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly looks like it's working on rejection of the 1 ATR channel. So yeah, there's some confluences here for sure. If I were to short this here, I would get out of half tomorrow if it closed back above the 50. That would be a warning sign that it closed back above the 50. I don't love the idea of shorting this far down into the value zone. I'd much rather find a short up here. But yeah, I mean, it looks like it's lost the previous low as well. I mean, we never know, but yeah, there's some warning signs there for sure. On the weekly, we can't get above that 1 ATR channel. On the daily, we've lost the 50 SMA, we've lost the 50 RSI, we had a double top. Yeah, I mean, it could go back down to here, but just make sure you have your stop. My stop would be a close back over 50 for half, and probably the second half would be a close back over the 50 SMA. Kamal says, SHW is not profitable. Okay. Well, good. Good to know that. Okay. Lova says EXC 520 today in double bottom bold divergence and a weekly uptrend. All right, let's take a look. EXC. I don't see the 520 crossover on mine, Lova, and it is not a double bottom with the bullish divergence. This did not come back down and test this low. This is a low here. We did not come down and test it. And if we had, these bars would have had to be very short compared to the long bars on this first one. So no, this does not qualify as a double bottom with the bullish divergence, and I do not see the 520. What? Kamal says, oh, I thought you said minus 37. Now it's positive 37 on SHW? All right, well, let's see. Did you just hit the wrong button? All right, so this does back this well. I'm not thrilled about the volume, 226,000, but yes, it is a 520 crossover. It is a fractal. MACD is positive, so it's pretty good. I think I'm going to stick with Ollie though. I think that's really what I'm going to look at. I like the real sideways motion. I like how the moving averages are starting to spread out here. That to me is kind of an initial sign that this thing might trend. We did have volume. Bonds does not look like it's going to be above 30. And then the other option was William and Sonoma. This has more volume. All right, so my two favorites at the moment are Ollie and WSM. Let me go up and take a look and see of the ones I have to get rid of. Okay, I'm just going to go right now so I can kind of clear my head and get rid of everything. I'm just going to go ahead so I can see how many positions I really have and what extra that I want to take off. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in profits in PLNT right now because of earnings after the bell. All right. So I am at a PLNT, nice one-day trade for 1.77%. Not too shabbily there, huh? Clorox I'm holding. CNK I am holding. Profitable. Facebook I bought half. It looks, let's see, the 1050 EMA. Where's my 269.28? It's 269.65, so it would have to close above 269.28. Otherwise, I'm going to have to sell half of my position. But currently, it is above 269.28, so I will be holding as long as it's above there. Verizon is going to be touch and go here. I have to sell it if it closes below the 200-day moving average, which is 56.93. It's 57, so it's going to be very close on that one. And PSNL, I'm going to go ahead and sell PSNL right now and just be done with that. All right. So what I have left is a half position of Clorox, a full position of Cinemark, a half position of Facebook. So that gives me 2 full positions. SPY, of course, I'll be buying that. And then Verizon, I will hold. It's a half position. So it gives me 2.5, 3 positions. I may be getting out of Verizon with a close under the 200. So, you know, as always, possibility here for me is to go half and half, which probably is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go again with half position of Ollie and so I'm going to go with the half position of Ollie here. I'm glad it's off of the highs. Half position of Ollie. Half position of Williams-Sonoma with the crossover. And is that it, what I'm going to do? I think that's what I'm going to do. I may have to get out of half of Facebook, though. This looks like it might close below 269.27. It's close. So I did get out of PSNL and PLNT. Have to watch Verizon. Hope that will hold. So I'm going to go over here. Yeah, I better do that right now. Where'd my Verizon go? Okay. So Verizon's going to be touch and go. It's at 56.93. It's at 56.98. So I'll just have to see here. Oh, I think now it's right there, barely holding above. All right, 1 minute to go. All right, I better... 56.95, it has to hold above 56.93. Gonna be super close. $56.94, as close as you can get. 1 penny away. Now it's looking okay. 95, 94, 93, 95. Okay. It held. It held to 200. Oh, man. That was tough. That was tough. All right, everybody. So listen. Let's see where my transactions were here. So overnight SPY, I bought at 390.72. WSM, I bought at 127.58. And OLLI, I bought at 96.11. All right, so SPY, overnight SPY, which was a loss today. 390.72. WSM. Bought at 127.58. And Ollie, $96.11. And those were both half positions, by the way. All right. So listen, if any of my current or past students have any new trades today that you'd like me to get on the board, this would be the time to do it. Just go ahead, put it in the chat there, and I will get them all taken care of. Real quick, before I do, just a quick reminder, I do teach private lessons in the evening time via Skype. I teach a 15-hour course, one-on-one. 5 sessions, 3 hours. I teach you everything that I know and what I use in my trading. I think the one-on-one is the best format, so you can ask questions. We can really get into the nitty-gritty of it all. But if you do take this course with me, I know you're going to be a better trader when you're finished. I really know that. And so if you are interested in doing this with me, just send me an email. Say, Greg, I'm possibly interested in taking your course. I'll reply and say, great, let's set up a Skype call. I just want to learn more about you, your trading, your trading goals and trading challenges. It's a good time for you to ask me questions about the course. And then when we're done with the call, you can think about it. And then if you want to schedule in the future, you can just email me back and we'll get it scheduled up. And then also, I do have a new online course for my deep dip buy stock trading strategy. It's on Udemy. It's 10 hours. It's a lot less expensive than taking the one-on-one courses, and I think it's still really good. I mean, I think Udemy sells for like $12 or $13. So if you don't have the financial wherewithal to take the one-on-one course, taking that online course for $12, $13 makes a lot of sense, and I think it would really help you as well. And so if you are interested in that, I've pasted the Udemy link in the description of this video. And then lastly, if you did like today's podcast, I really would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button. It does help build the channel, keeps the channel around, lets YouTube know people are interested in the content, so they'll get out and share it more. So, all right, that's all the business housekeeping stuff. Give me 1 second, though. Snowplow little situation. Give me 1 second. Give me 20 seconds, and then we'll get all these posted up. Okay, sorry about that. Let's take a look here. So Kamal is out of CTSH. Okay. Didn't work out, but good trade, Kamal, for following your rules. He's in 8. EGHT. Oh yeah, now I see the volume. Okay. Gary says no new trades for me today. Nothing wrong with that. Johnson and his Ollie. All right, well, good luck to us, right? And I guess I better note in here for myself, that's a half position. I like taking 1/2 positions. I like taking multiple trades at the end of the day, just for diversity's sake, but I don't like taking the risk of taking full positions. So I like having the diversification of taking 2 good trades if I have them, but taking half on each one. And out of P, S, and L. Yeah, that's the one I got out of as well. Yeah, that one didn't work out. It worked out pretty well this year, but today, not so hot tamale. Johan is an 8. All right. Good luck to Kamal and Johan. Johnson says initiated short position in BA, -1 share. Okay. I'm not going to put it up, Johnson, because I don't know if you were here or you know that. So I'm going to reserve putting trades up on the board just for my students or my current students and past students, just because the board was getting so big. But good luck with that. Remind us tomorrow, Johnson, okay, how that's worked out for you. I'm interested to know. David is an Ollie. Your name's not Ollie, it's David. I do that all the time. Sonny. Hey, Sonny, how you doing? Love that name. Sonny says, I bought the Udemy course today. I'm looking forward to studying. Oh, that's great. And Sonny and anyone else there who has bought that online course, and I say this in all the videos, but I think one of the great reasons of taking that course is having this podcast, because as you're going through the course, Sonny, I mean, if you have any questions while you're watching the video course, write them down and ask me here so that I can explain to you, and then I can show you up on the chart, right? It's a better way to learn. So yes, please, I'm looking forward to know how you like it. And if you have any questions, you just let me know. Lovett says, can we apply what we know about the overnight SPY trade to other trades? Since gains happen overnight, would it make sense to do all of our buying at the close and selling at the open? Well, I think you could make a case for it. I think one of the reasons I'd probably want to stick with an index like the Qs or the SPY or the SSO would be that you have diversification over hundreds of stocks instead of just one particular individual stock. It lessens your risk. So can we apply what we know about the overnight SPY to other trades? Yeah, I mean, Steve taught me this a long time ago, that one of just a simple edge that you have in trading is holding overnight, because of basically the premise that we've just discussed with the overnight SPY trades, that as a whole, in the aggregate, people sell off at the end of the day. Day traders, they don't want to hold it overnight because they feel like it's risky to hold it overnight, and it is sometimes. But if you look at the statistics, at least on the SPY and the Qs, there's an actual edge in holding overnight. You're the one taking the risk. Therefore, you more times than not, you get paid for that. But I wouldn't, make it a habit to just every trade I'm going to buy at night and sell it in the morning, especially with individual trades, unless you have a proper setup to begin with. So I hope that helps, Leva. Johan says, thanks for pointing that out, Kamal. Kamal says, onward and upward, Johan. And Johan has a little rocket ship. So listen, everybody, be honest with me. This new format seems to me like it's giving us more time for me to teach, to look at more symbols, have more time to do that, try to explain things better. That's my perception, but I like your honest opinion. I mean, I know it was fun to look at everybody's trades, but it took 20 minutes out of an hour And, you know, I just kind of feel like the time that we have probably should be, my best use is to teach. So I don't know. Does anybody have any feedback on that? And they notice a difference? What do you think? Just your honest opinion. And thank you, Sunny, for buying the course. Really, that's great. I hope you enjoy it and hope you have questions for me. PLTN, that had earnings. Let's see how it did after hours. PLTN. PLNT, sorry. Oh, it's down 4%. 3% now. All right. Good move on selling before earnings. Good. What else is happening after hours? Clorox is up nicely after hours. Cinemark is unchanged. Facebook is unchanged. Looks like Ollie's unchanged. Qs are up a little bit. SPY is up a little bit. All right. Lovis's example, your exit today from PSNL, would it have made sense to sell it at tomorrow's open? No, not at all, because my signal was to get out, have half if we go above 50 and below 50 RSI, which I did. My second signal is to get out if we close below the 50, which I did. And we also closed below the stop loss as well. So no, I don't see any advantage to that. I mean, I sold it because it had bad price action, which to me would insinuate that it would lead to worse price action tomorrow morning. Love says, I like the new format. I always learn not only from my questions, but also by hearing others' questions. Okay. Well, I hope the question that you just add makes sense. Gary's out of PLNT. Good. So we are out like scouts. And good thing, because it's down after hours on earnings. All right, Verizon, CNK. Only thing right now that's even down a little bit is the Facebook trade. So Johnson says the format is good, limiting number of trades on the board. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that. I liked going over everyone's trades. I really did. But it just took so much time, and I just felt like eventually, you know, if the channel grows, there'd be more people that it would just be impossible. So just felt like this would probably be the right time, and, you know, do what probably my best use of time, and that's to teach and answer your questions and help you calibrate in things a little bit easier than just rushing through everything and just kind of doing a mile wide and an inch deep instead of doing things a little bit more thorough. So good. Thank you, Johnson. Appreciate that. So we had a lot of snow yesterday. Man, I was tromping around in the snow. Holy smokes. Have my crampons on, real deep snow, but it was good. It was good. And I will be doing that again today as well. Yeah, Planet Fitness down about 3% now. Gary says, Greg, I have a substantial amount of shares in Schwab. It's way up to the third ATR channel. Was looking for puts as protection. Any thoughts? I haven't looked at Schwab for a while. So Gary, it's a long-term hold. It's not just the trade. It's a long-term hold. I mean, we're at 70.37. Obviously, we certainly could lose the 70 tomorrow. I'll tell you, we are pretty high. We are pretty high. I mean, we're above the third ATR channel on the weekly. If you think the third ATR channel on the daily is high, being above the third ATR channel on the weekly is really high. I mean, that's hard for me to answer. It just kind of, is it a long-term situation? You know, I mean, what comes to mind is, sure, you could, you could buy at the money puts, but because the delta is probably about 50%, you'd probably have to buy twice as much if you fully wanted to cover the hedge on the stock. But I think it really depends. What is the move with Schwab? Are you not able to sell it? Do you have to keep it? Is that why you're looking for puts for protection? Lovis says that makes sense. When we sell, it's for a reason. We never randomly sell a specific stock. Therefore, even on average, gains happen overnight. That doesn't apply to stocks giving sell signals. Yeah, exactly. Gary says, I've had them from the time I worked there. That's a tough question for me to ask because, I mean, answer long term, it's looking really good. But I mean, look, we're almost to the third ATR channel on the monthly, Gary. Look what happened last time. We literally pegged it and then boom, right back down. I don't know. It's always tough to hedge stuff. I mean, if you can't sell it for tax reasons, and yeah, it kind of makes sense. But if you're not worried about the tax consequences, I literally would probably just sell the stock if the technicals told me to sell it. I mean, it's not like it's not at a nice big high price. I don't know if Kamal. Oh, Gary says I have a big tax consequence. Okay. So yeah. So then maybe something like puts would make sense. I mean, that's why people buy puts, to avoid, to hedge without the tax consequences. But then the question is, what are you going to do? You're going to buy out of the money puts for cheaper. You're going to buy at the money puts for more money, but the delta is higher. You know a lot about options. Gary says, Gary, follow Greg's principle of sell half. It's a pretty good principle, but I think what he's saying, Kamal, though, is that if he sold half, then he'd have tax consequences on the half that he sold. You could also apply the half principle to just buying, if you had 1,000 shares, buy 10 at the money puts, it's only a 50% delta. So by default, it would be kind of like half. Does that make sense? I'm sure that doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but Gary is pretty good with options. But buy as many contracts for as many 100 shares that you have. It's not going to hedge you 100%, but it will hedge you 50% because the delta is probably going to be 50. Yeah, I don't feel like I helped out very much there, Gary. But I mean, it looks pretty toppy, but who knows? But on the daily, we're above the third ATR channel, which is actually good. To be above it is better than being below it. On the weekly, we're above it. Very likely, test that other high here back on 115. And then on the monthly, to get up to the third ATR channel on the monthly is difficult to do. Well, it happened over here, but you can see That was the majority of the move before it headed back down, and we're right back there again. I don't know. My gut feeling is that it has more to go down than it has to go up. I'll leave you with that. And I'm also going to leave you with my little picture. I know I say it every day. I hope it doesn't get old, but I really do believe in this. Listen, if we could all do one random act of kindness daily, we just might set the world in the right direction, by Martin Kornfeld. You know what I'm going to say. Please go out, try to do something nice for somebody today. Just a smile, a wave, be pleasant, give them a hand. And also, if an animal comes across your path, do something nice for the animal. Speak nicely to it, give them a little treat. If you have a pet, take them on a walk, right? They really appreciate that stuff, and they need interaction and exercise just like we do. So one nice thing for a human, one nice thing for an animal would make the world a lot better place, I think. And I think that's it. I would really appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button on the way before you click on out of here and get on with your day if you like today's podcast. But thanks again for coming, everyone. I really do appreciate it. What was the final? Dow Jones down 119, NASDAQ down about even 100, and the S&P down. So yeah. We've been kind of extended. I'm not surprised we're having a little bit of a pullback. But listen, a lot of things are coming back into the value zone, which, that's good, right? I always talk about not chasing momentum. I mean, look at the people that had to have Apple up here. Just had to have it at 144, right? Much better to buy in the value zone. Now we're even below value. So there's a lot of things kind of on my shopping list as soon as they come back into the value zone. Like the Qs. Look, Qs aren't quite there. Last time it was in the value zone, good place to pick it up. Here was a good place to pick it up. Here's a good place to pick it up. Maybe this will be another good place to pick it up. Who knows? Who knows? Johnson says you can buy a put and sell out of the money calls. That's true. That's true. To make it up a little bit more on the other side. Thanks, Johan. I will have a good hike. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Have a good rest of your day, okay? And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance, Result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.